Srinagar, the weather was not with the Congress. Primarily, the Congress would have wanted to end the Bharat Jodo Yatra with a bang, massive concert that was organized at the Sher-e-Kashmir Stadium. But all of that was not to happen. Many of the own leaders of the Congress, like Sachin Pilot, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, missed their flights because all flights were cancelled due to the snowfall. But all of that aside, an emotional pitch raised by Rahul Gandhi, and he ended his over 4,000-kilometer long trek.
Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra ends after covering a distance of nearly 4,000 kilometers from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. Rahul Gandhi, accompanied by Sister Priyanka and Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge, first unfurled the tricolour at the party headquarters in the snow-covered Srinagar. This was followed by a rally at the packed Sher-e-Kashmir Stadium, where Rahul struck an emotional chord. He recalled the assassinations of his father and grandmother, stressed the point that he understood the pain of those who lost their family members in terror attacks.
मैं प्रिंसिपल के ऑफिस पहुंचा तो प्रिंसिपल ने कहा, राहुल तुम्हारे घर से फोन कॉल है। राहुल दादी को गोली मार दी। पिता के एक दोस्त थे, उन्होंने मुझे फोन किया और कहा, राहुल बुरी खबर है। मैंने उनसे कहा, मैं जानता हूं, पापा मर गए। कहते हैं हाँ। यात्रा का लक्ष्य है कि ये जो फोन कॉल हैं, चाहे ये आर्मी के हों, चाहे सीआरपीएफ के हों, चाहे ये कश्मीर के लोगों के हो, ये फोन कॉल बंद हो जाए।
The Congress MP dared Home Minister Amit Shah to hold a Padyatra from Jammu to Srinagar.
जैसे मोदी जी हैं, अमित शाह जी हैं, आरएसएस के लोग हैं, उन्होंने हिंसा नहीं देखी है। डरते हैं, नहीं डरते हैं, देखिए डरते हैं। यहां पे हम 4 दिन पैदल चले, मैं आपको गारंटी देके कह सकता हूं कि बीजेपी का कोई नेता ऐसे नहीं चल सकता।
Rahul stuck to his theme "Daro Mat" throughout the speech.
तो मैंने मौका दिया, मैंने कहा मैं 4 दिन चलूंगा, बदल दो टी-शर्ट का रंग, लाल कर दो, देखी जाएगी।
The Gandhis called the Jammu Kashmir visit a homecoming for them.
जब मेरे भाई कश्मीर की तरफ आ रहे थे तो उन्होंने एक मैसेज भेजा हमें, मुझे और मेरी माँ को। उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे एक अजीब सी फीलिंग हो रही है, महसूस हो रहा है कि मैं अपने घर जा रहा हूँ।
Though the Congress had invited over 20 like-minded parties to the rally, the only big faces that showed up came from the valley, putting a big question mark on opposition unity. Rahul Gandhi may have shed this image of non-serious politician with the grueling Padyatra, but has the Bharat Jodo Yatra energized Congress cadres and leaders? The real test comes later this year, when 3 states in the Hindi heartland, where the Congress is locked in a direct face-off with BJP, go to polls. Bureau Report, India Today.
We're at the iconic Lal Chowk in downtown Srinagar. Most political parties in the valley or even outside have had an affinity to Lal Chowk, wanting to build their political narrative from right here. The Congress and Rahul Gandhi also attempted to do so by unfurling the tricolour right here. However, they also wanted to, with the help of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, prove to be the fulcrum or be at the center stage of opposition unity leading up to 2024. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but the Bharat Jodo Yatra has been unsuccessful in doing so. The reason why? 21 invitees had gone out to like-minded parties. Not many showed up.
stepping out of political wilderness. The science trek from Kanyakumari down south to Kashmir up in the north. Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo completes in Srinagar. After covering 75 districts, 14 states in 134 days.
हम 4 दिन पैदल चले. मैं आपको गारंटी देके कह सकता हूं कि बीजेपी का कोई नेता ऐसे नहीं चल सकता है.
A key test of the 52-year-old Congress MP's efforts in piecing together the country's fractured opposition. Ahead of the 2024 general elections and in the face of the mighty BJP under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Congress issued invites to almost 21 like-minded parties to attend the culmination rally of the Bharat Jodo Yatra at Srinagar. The invite was issued through the Trinamool Congress, to the JMM, to the DMK from the south, the NCP and the Shiv Sena. Now many of these parties attended the Yatra en route and many of them also joined the culmination rally. But parties like the BSP, Samajwadi Party, even allies like the JDU and the RJD gave the culmination rally and the Bharat Jodo Yatra a miss.
The absence of the opposition in its full strength at the Yatra's finale gave the ruling BJP a handle to attack Gandhi's foot slog as an exercise in vain. The party's IT cell head, Amit Malviya, issued a stinging tweet, calling the march a damn squib.
गांधी जी को और प्रियंका गांधी जी को बर्फ के गोलों के साथ तो खेलते देखा, पिकनिक मनाते भी देखा, हंसी खुशी के माहौल में भी देखा, लेकिन शायद वो धन्यवाद करना भूल गए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का, जिन्होंने सत्ता में आने के बाद अनुच्छेद 370 और 35 को सदा सदा के लिए खत्म किया.
A journey has ended, but the jury is still out whether it will bring the opposition unified on a common path before the 2024 vote. Supriya Bharadwaj and Maushami Singh in Srinagar for India Today.
What the Bharat Jodo Yatra essentially also do, viewers, and that is the biggest, is somewhere down the line position Rahul Gandhi as the primary face of the Congress. The Congress hates it when the media says, which is the rebranding of Rahul Gandhi. But yes, when it comes to public perception on what was possibly peddled by the BJP's IT cell, which was also a perception with many amongst the public, the perception of being called Pappu, that is changed completely by the Bharat Jodo Yatra. We take you through the many faces of Rahul Gandhi.
This was the culmination of the Bharat Jodo Yatra in Srinagar on Monday. The journey of reinvention has seen many images, many faces of Rahul Gandhi. When he set out on the 4,000-kilometer Yatra, a clean-shaven Rahul was the man on a mission. To unite the country was the stated agenda, but to tide over upcoming elections was the bigger goal. That goal required political muscle, so all Congress leaders put their weight behind the Gandhi heir. If the aim of the Yatra was to showcase Rahul as a man fit to take on Modi in 2024, it was also to showcase his human side, the people connect, the one loved by kids and youth alike. A family man, a doting son and a brother, an animal lover, a man who could walk with Aam Aadmi and the Khas Aadmi alike. A man of faith, a Shiv Bhakt, a secular face. As the Yatra continued, the beard started to grow. The look changed, but the white t-shirt remained, even in the biting Delhi cold. But then a jacket was added, later a cap, and finally a firan. Whether these viral images translate into viral votes is something India will be waiting for and watching. Bureau Report, India Today.
A video of a toddler shaking hands with everyone is melting hearts over the internet. He can be seen walking in a plane and shaking hands with every passenger he meets. They love this gesture and greet him with a smile. This bizarre wedding has become the talk of the town. Two families in Uttar Pradesh arranged a grand wedding for their pets. The dogs got married as per the rituals of a traditional Indian wedding, and the guests were seen dancing on the beats of dhol. Video of an elderly couple dancing on a Malayalam song, Muntiri Padam, has gone viral. Breaking the age stereotypes, the couple has stolen the show at a marriage function in Kerala. Netizens are pouring love and appreciation for the adorable dance. Smartphones have made humans go crazy, but does it have the same impact on primates? A video has gone viral which shows a group of monkeys peering at a touchscreen phone and navigating its screen. It seems as if they know how a touchscreen works. Netizens are reacting to this, saying, hence proof they are our ancestors. A video of a barber shaving his own hair along with a woman cancer patient who had come to get her head shaved has gone viral. The video has left netizens teary-eyed. The man is seen hugging her and surprises the woman with his act of solidarity.
When you're trying to find peace, you choose the music that makes you feel calm. A band is seen playing the song in a video that is available online for viewers.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
He cried, calling out his mom, pleading. But they doused him with pepper spray on his face. He was punched and kicked in the face. Battered, bruised, lying motionless, eventually losing his life to yet another horrifying police assault. Yet another black American falling prey to shocking police excesses. Tyre Nichols, a 29-year-old man, was brutally assaulted by 5 Memphis Police Department cops, all of them also black Americans, on 7th of January. The cop had stopped Tyre Nichols on suspicion of reckless driving. Once pulled in, Tyre and the cops had a scuffle and he tried to flee. The horror that followed has numbed the world, despite it not being the first time ever in the United States. The police department released graphic video footage which shows officers dragging Nichols from the driver's seat of his car, forcing him to the ground as they order him to lay down on his stomach. Then squirt him in the face with pepper spray as he tries to break free, calling out for his mother.
Mom!
The cops were also seen kicking and punching Tyre in the face, after which he laid motionless on the ground. A battered Tyre succumbed to his injuries 3 days later in the hospital. The horror is yet another reminder to black Americans on how they are vulnerable to police atrocities. The daughter of Rodney King, another such victim, was angry.
I'm lost. I don't know how to feel. It's not cool. This is not acceptable. We are humans, guys. We're humans. We do everything else. Come on. Imagine how many people out there homeless that this happened to. But because it wasn't videotaped, or they're not a Rodney King or a George Floyd, it's not taken serious. We got to do better. This is why people are not okay mentally. Because this is over. It's a repetitive action. It's not acceptable.
The death led to large-scale demonstrations in the United States, even as Nichols' relatives urged supporters to protest peacefully. Scuffles broke out at New York's iconic Times Square amid protests over Nichols' death. Police arrested at least 3 people at Times Square.
If we don't get it, shut it down.
President Joe Biden condemned the attack, saying that he is outraged and deeply pained.
I spoke with Tyree's mother and expressed my condolences and told her that I was going to be making the case to the Congress they should pass the George Floyd Act. We should get this under control. I can only do so much in an executive order at a federal level. And the prayer, I was really pleased that she called for no peaceful protest, no violence, no movement at all.
In 2020, the world saw the brutality of American cops with the murder of George Floyd, sparking widespread outrage, anger, and an unkept promise to improve.
On this planet again. That's right. George Floyd! Get your head blown!
All 5 accused cops face charges of second-degree murder and aggravated assault. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right.
traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political back.
she takes the news by its horns.
You think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
It's 2023, and India remains the sole shining star in the global economy. So what lies ahead as the Modi government prepares its last full budget before the 2024 general elections? Join the biggest names in business journalism, decoding the jargon with the biggest newsmakers. From the most credible, in-depth analysis of Budget 2023, tune in for Modinomics 2023 through the month. Only on India Today and Business Today Television, gold standard of business journalism.
I don't read the news. I read between the lines to tell you the true version of events, the true story of our times. To document grief, the toughest assignment for any journalist to be. From those who matter.
Women politicians going to stick up for each other.
Of those who should matter. I document the truth. I don't distort the truth. I don't glamorize the truth. I don't gloss over the truth. The ghosts of India's contentious medieval history have come knocking again. I hustle for the truth. On the ground, in the newsroom, in the studio. I don't try to grab eyeballs. I inform you to make you see the point.
To the Point with Preeti Choudhry. At these times, only on India Today.
So sorry.
Warm welcome, viewers. You're watching To The Point, and we come to you from Srinagar, and what a day it's been. Possibly things haven't gone according to plan with what the Congress would have wanted. Lots of things haven't gone according to plan what the Congress had wanted. They would have wanted a clear day today where they would have ended the Bharat Jodo Yatra on what they had said a spectacular note with a concert, a mega rally, cadre in attendance. But what really happened was it was theatrical, but for other reasons. Late last night it started to drizzle and we all woke up with a carpet of snow. For reason enough, Srinagar in the last 12 hours has witnessed its heaviest rainfall this season, or rather many would suggest in the last 2 seasons as well. And it's been biting cold, though stunning at that. Not so good for the Congress. But what went down today, the concert was cancelled because of logistical hazards, keeping the weather in mind. Rahul Gandhi, donning a firang, came and gave out an emotional speech for about 35 minutes. Priyanka Gandhi spoke before him, Mr. Kharge spoke before him, and that is how he ended the Bharat Jodo Yatra. 4,000 kilometers, viewers. It's only plausible and legitimate for us to ask what have been the biggest takeaways of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, what have been the achievements, what have been the failures of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, and there have been many on both counts. Has somewhere down the line the Bharat Jodo Yatra ended the cold winter of the Congress? Well, many would suggest there'll be 2 issues when it comes down to it. The proof of the pudding would lie, A, electorally. Will the Congress be able to win elections after the Bharat Jodo Yatra? They've said this Yatra wasn't political, but will it give political dividends is the question. In terms of achievements, for the Congress, the biggest achievement is that it has made clear that Rahul Gandhi will be the face of the Congress. It's reimagined the image of Rahul Gandhi. Contrary to what has been peddled by the BJP IT cell, or what has been in the perception of many, many people, the image of Pappu no more, where Rahul Gandhi comes into question. It's an all-new Rahul Gandhi. Will he sustain? Will he be consistent? Of course, those are questions that remain to be answered. On the other hand, it has infused a very lackluster Congress cadre, and many would suggest that this is one of the biggest accomplishments of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. For years, what the Congress lacked was spirit in the heart of the Congress cadre. Those who would carry the flag of the Congress with pride, come what may. And we saw that today, viewers. Srinagar saw over 7 inches of snow. It was snowing consistently. The wind picked up. It was impossible to trudge to the stadium for the final rally, the concluding rally of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Many of the Congress cadre did so enthusiastically at that. Waited, heard their leader out, who was Rahul Gandhi. So yes, enthused lackluster Congress cadre has been one of the biggest achievements. It's also somewhere down the line debunked BJP's Congress Mukh Bharat narrative, and we've seen that consistently being built election after election. They've come back after Himachal, the Congress, and the Bharat Jodo Yatra somewhere down the line as it's cut across the country from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, has debunked that Congress Mukh Bharat narrative of the BJP. Ultimately, with that, it's revived the Congress's missing ideological compass. It's reinstated what had been the core ideology of the Congress. And on the other hand, with many elections coming up, including that of Karnataka, the Congress, at least the smaller regional units have been re-energized, enthused. And we saw that even in Srinagar, in Kashmir, viewers, because after the abrogation of Article 370, if there is one party which launched an initiative, it didn't come from regional parties like, say, the NC or the PP. It has come from the Congress party, which has gone through Kashmir with the Bharat Jodo Yatra. But this is the achievements of what we feel of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. What have been the biggest failures of the Bharat Jodo Yatra? I want to take you through some of those. Well, it's failed to build a concerted narrative. What does the Congress take to the people? One clear narrative was, of course, missing, ineffective in building a mass movement. It wanted to build a movement which was based on love, but primarily was anti what the Congress called the divisive politics or the divisive nature of the BJP. And it's failed to actually cohesively build that mass movement. Other than the party cadre, we haven't seen people as much as what the Congress would have wanted from various walks of life join in. Of course, people did join in, but maybe not in the kind of mass support the Congress would have wanted at the back of a yatra such as this. Moreover, the yatra was unable to cut across party lines, not just party lines, even in its own allies. It's not that you saw massive support. Yes, in Tamil Nadu, in Maharashtra, in here, Jammu and Kashmir, we did see allies walk alongside the Congress and Rahul Gandhi. But a cohesive cutting across other parties which the Congress might have wanted to convince to come to its fold, not just its allies. It's failed to do so. Other than that, it's failed to position Congress at the center stage of opposition unity, and the biggest test of that, viewers, was what happened today at the Sher-e-Kashmir Stadium. 21 invitations were given out to the Congress opposition, to the opposition parties, like-minded opposition parties or allies of the Congress, to come and join them on the dais. Well, most of those invitations were not just turned down, but even allies did not send, if one would say, strong representatives or big leaders. We didn't see any of those on the stage today. So a failure in that respect. The other failure, ineffective in solving the internal party differences. While all of this is happening, we know exactly what's going down in Rajasthan, for example, between Gehlot and Sachin Pilot. Rarely does a day go by where political jibe or a swipe is not made from either one of them aimed at each other. Or in Karnataka, the differences between Siddaramaiah, and the other leaders, whereas D.K. Sivkumar is not hidden to anybody. It's not that it's built that way, it hasn't. And lastly, the Yatra clearly ended up being a Rahul image jodo exercise. Nothing wrong with that because it succeeded beautifully in doing it, but less of something to do where the Congress party is concerned. Ultimately, the party has always maintained that it wasn't an attempt to build a political movement. This wasn't a political movement. The politics will start now. So these were the pros or the cons of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, or the achievements or the failure of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. But what went down today seemed to suggest, viewers, that the Congress, as it bowed out curtains call for the Bharat Jodo Yatra, is hoping, or at least the indication seems to suggest, that it would be consistent. I want to cut across to our consulting editor, Rajdeep Sardesai, Rahul Srivastav, our national affairs editor, and my colleague Supriya, who's practically walked 3,000 of the 4,000 kilometers of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Rajdeep, I'll begin with you. It's legitimate, it's plausible, as the Bharat Jodo Yatra ends today, to ask what has it achieved? What has been its biggest accomplishment or its biggest failures?
I think that's a good question, and I think you put down very well, very succinctly, some of the strengths and disadvantages of this Bharat Jodo Yatra. The big strength or the big gain, I think, is that it's given the Congress some kind of an ideological compass to work on. This has been a party that for the longest time has got completely de-ideologized, and that's one of the reasons why it's been so vulnerable to defections, to breakups. I think Rahul Gandhi's Yatra gave a platform in a way to ideological forces who felt that they didn't have the space to truly express themselves, represent themselves. And yes, as a result, also has given Rahul Gandhi, in a sense, that kind of an ideological image, if you want to call it, which he clearly lacked. There was a pappufication of Rahul Gandhi that had taken place for the longest time, and the BJP had driven that message home. So from that point of view, from a Rahul Gandhi point of view, and indeed from perhaps the growing respect that the Congress cadres now have for Rahul Gandhi, it's been an advantage. That's the biggest gain. The biggest minus, I think, came from what you also said today, is that at the end of the day, the Congress is a political party. It's not an NGO. So it's going to have to translate this ideological fervor into organizational strength, into being able to become a magnet for opposition unity possibly, and more importantly, to make itself more electable. And I'm not sure that the Yatra has yet given that kind of a clear positive narrative that will enable the Congress in a way to move forward electorally. That's the question mark, and therefore to that extent, I think one has to wait and see whether the Yatra can translate some of the enthusiasm of Congress cadres in particular into something more substantial when it comes to elections. So, that's to my mind the big gain and the big possible failing of the Yatra.
I want to, Rahul, before I come to you, I want to bring in Maushmi. Maushmi and Supriya have been two reporters who've practically clocked in over 3,000 kilometers of what this 4,000 trek is. So before I cut across to Maushmi, I believe there's a problem with her link. Supriya, I'm going to pull you in very quickly, encapsulate Supriya for you as you walked along. I would reckon for a reporter who's covered the Congress, what was missing earlier was a cadre that was energized, that was enthused. What was missing is maybe the Congress would have wanted a mass movement of sorts that this Yatra would have enabled. That did not quite happen. But what happened was enough to get the cadre going, like we saw Supriya with their flag in the hand and walking, trudging through snow, some through 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers to reach the stadium today.
Well, I will not completely agree with what you are saying, because the cadre came out in large number, yes, but then people also joined in. In Madhya Pradesh, what we saw was unprecedented, Preeti, because there it was a BJP ruled state and it was the first state of the Hindi heartland, and people in large number came out, especially those of the BJP supporters, and they joined in. See, what has happened here is this Yatra was smartly, the initial narrative was very smartly built up around unemployment and price rise. Yes, these two are big issues, and right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, even here also, we have met so many youngsters and people who are worried about the unemployment, who want about the unemployment situation, and second thing being that of the price rise. Now, I think this is just the beginning. Well, Congress is in a transition phase. It is like one thing which I've seen is in this entire thing is, earlier what used to happen was there were all these stalwart leaders, all these big shots who used to be there in the Lieutenant Delhi, the so-called general secretaries and in charges, and people across the country, especially the cadre, used to come all the way to Delhi. Now, this is the new change that Rahul Gandhi has ushered in, that everybody is going to go to the people, you know, they're going to go, the Delhi ka darbar will go to Janta ka doorstep. That was the entire idea which I felt had happened.
Okay.
There they were reaching out, yes. One thing is there, that when the Yatra was crisscrossing, it has left many important states, which is like Bihar, which is like Uttar Pradesh, and it is said that the roads to the Delhi's throne or to the past citadels goes through these areas also.
Okay.
So they have to work out. The biggest challenge now before the Congress party is that yes, they are popular, they have done this Yatra, but now comes the big challenge to convert this popularity into electoral votes, because in this very year we have 10 very crucial elections.
True. The proof of the pudding would be in its eating, and ultimately 3 states tear you down in less than a month's time, and then you have Karnataka, and then the party's practically begun as a run-up to 2024. You have 9 states which will go into elections in this entire year. I want to quickly bring in Rahul Srivastav and Supriya, and we'll go back to Rajdeep for a word as well. Rahul, what is the biggest takeaway? You know, you've been studying as this Yatra has traversed through various states. Biggest achievements, biggest failures.
Preeti, I think the Congress got into some bad habits. The Congress unlearned a lot of its old habits. I think the Congress went back on relearning and reacquiring. I think that's one very major element, because if you see, Rahul Gandhi undertook a Yatra to show consistency. That's personal. To show that he's there, he's around, that's very interesting, because he wants to change his image. But I think the Congress stopped planning short-term, long-term, what it's going to do next day, getting its cadre, organizing its act. I think that's what the Congress is doing. I think there is also a sense of follow-up. It could be because of elections, but one was worried that if it has left Kerala, what will Congress cadres do once it is reaching Kashmir? So today in Karnataka, you have Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar taking out a Yatra. So there is a follow-up. So a follow-up has become a habit. I think that's interesting, because you remember in UP, we used to say that Rahul Gandhi, Sonia and Priyanka land up, they go there for 4-5 days, 2-3 days, and after that, the Congress cadres go off to sleep. I think that has changed a little bit. I think Haath Se Haath Jodo Yatra is a sign that the Congress is planning a future, has got plans to keep the cadres engaged. I think that's interesting. I think Rahul Gandhi to a summit has sent out a signal that he's the boss. I think that's important. What happened in Himachal Pradesh, that despite being on an Yatra, despite saying the intent is not political, despite Congress saying it is not about the family or re-establishing them as the anchor of the party, I think that has happened. I think a message has gone. Rajdeep talked about ideological this thing. I think that's a very important thing, because in Maharashtra, for example, when it comes to ideological position of the Congress on Savarkar, despite an alliance with Shiv Sena, the Congress and Rahul Gandhi emphasized, no, we are against this issue. We will attack Savarkar. And I think that message has gone into the cadres as well as to the alliance partners. That's very important. Attempting to reclaim the opposition, principal opposition space, I think I think that story is still needs a lot of work, because if you see today, if you see the number of people who landed up today after a call for 23 or 24 parties, the DMK, National Conference, PDP, CPI, RSP, and IUML, others were there. But that does not make the principal opposition. Several players like Mamta Banerjee,
Okay.
she is the principal challenger. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, they were missing. So the opposition cohesion, if Congress could have become a pivot, not there. I think the biggest problem with the Yatra is the lack of a political cohesive message. Yatras in the past, 1983, Chandrasekhar didn't do anything to him. LK Advani's Yatra, yes, successful, but Vajpayee became Prime Minister. Murli Manohar Joshi, again, couldn't get much. 2004, the Bharat Udaya Yatra, BJP lost the election. Only YSRCP and Jagan Mohan Reddy, successful examples, but they had a very clear political message when they undertook the Yatras.
You know, Moshmi, I'll bring you in because with what we saw, it was interesting at a level when, you know, what Supriya also picked up was that certain states reacted very well, to the Yatra. Right here, if you saw it, after the abrogation of Article 370, it's actually the first political initiative that any party has carried out. It's not come from the PDP or the NC, it's come from the Congress. And you saw that kind of support that the Yatra got, say, in Kashmir. But on the other hand, which we've spoken at, length about, which even Rahul Srivastava also elucidated, what was the need of giving out these invitations too early? Did they think that all it would do is take a Yatra to get the opposition all on one stage for what is perceived as a private event of a party?
You know, Preeti, I apologize for joining in late. I can tell you that bad network and snow had played truant. But yes, we were discussing that point that, the Congress's overconfidence over the success of the Yatra perhaps got them to invite all the opposition parties. Despite them saying that it was not a political Yatra, it was very much political. It was being seen by allies and also by the BJP as a relaunch of Rahul Gandhi, and to a certain bit and to a large extent, it did in fact result in an image makeover of Rahul Gandhi in the mind of public at large, and definitely in the minds of the Congress workers, who now believe that Rahul Gandhi is the one leader that they can rally behind, and he is a confidence booster for them, and he is the one who can take on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So there I think it was the overconfidence of the Congress party. But yes, Bharat Jodo Yatra did achieve phenomenal success as far as boosting the Congress workers is concerned. But importantly, Congress still has to do away with its arrogance and obsession with the Gandhis and, try and focus on the organizational issues to in fact reboot and correct the Congress Jodo Abhiyan, which is very pertinent and important, Preeti.
Rajdeep, I'll give you the last word. When it comes down to Rahul Gandhi, I would think, we've talked about the biggest failures or the achievements. But would you reckon the biggest achievement of the Bharat Jodo Yatra would be to make Rahul Gandhi more acceptable and now firmly as the biggest face or the face where the Congress comes in question?
I think it's established him as the Congress's premier leader, because there was a question mark over that as well, particularly after he gave up Congress presidency, after a number of people close to Rahul Gandhi left the party. I think it's established Rahul Gandhi certainly as the Congress's #1 leader, but that's clearly not enough. And I think the real challenge, Preeti, now begins now. You've done this Yatra 3 months. You've disproved a lot of critics who said that you might walk away midway. Now the question is, you've got a parliament session and then a chain of elections. Will you campaign aggressively? Will you come up with new ideas? Or are you going to continue to play this backseat driving role? I think Rahul Gandhi at some stage will have to make it even clearer than he has. Does he really want power with responsibility? Or is he simply this renunciator? It can work in a Yatra, but it cannot work on a daily basis when you are a political party and not an NGO. So I think Rahul Gandhi's own role, Preeti, will have to become much more clear-cut in the months ahead to disprove the critics even further who say he isn't quite committed to 24/7 politics. I think he's taken a major step forward in that direction, but he needs to sustain it.
Well, he needs to sustain it, and when you talk about his image, All right, and you know where his own being is concerned, and I think that's where Supriya, Maushmi, and everybody would agree with. Even the kind of his press conferences, his rallies, or how he ended it today, he humanized himself a lot. Talked about his own personal stories, what went down or what he felt when Indira Gandhi died or when his father died, shared his own personal stories, and he's been doing it. So a change in perception there, but will he be consistent as a political leader? Because he's not just an ideological figure. Mind you, viewers, multiple times through the course of various press conferences, when he's been asked if he becomes Prime Minister, he's never said no anymore. He answers that question, okay, if I become Prime Minister, this is what I would do. So has he accepted that role for himself? If the Congress pitches him as the Prime Ministerial candidate for the Congress, we'll only know in time to come. But I appreciate all four of you for joining us and giving us, your 2 cents or all the gyan. I would reckon Maushmi, me and Supriya are going to go and thaw our feet because I really can't feel my toes anymore in the snow. But thank you. With that, we're going to leave you with these visuals. When we are talking about the human face of Rahul Gandhi, he's done it multiple times. Some have hated it, some have loved it, some have just, shrugged their shoulders on the way he's acted in front of the cameras when it came down to his own family, be his love for his mother or his sister. He had a bit of a snow fight today. Leave you with that. What happens of Rahul Gandhi or what comes of the Congress at the back of the Bharat Jodo Yatra? Well, there's not, very long to know. 3 quick political tests are coming up. 3 states in Northeast go into elections, and then, of course, the big test of Karnataka.
कि बहुत से लोगों को पता ही नहीं है। अगर मुसलमान देखेगा ओ हमारी माँ को ऐसा हो रहा है, हमारी बहन को ऐसा हो रहा है, तो बिल्कुल गलत है और उसके ऊपर ही फोकस करना है बीबीसी को। सेम है बीबीसी को अपने ही घर में क्यों आग लगा रहा है?
Anti-India agenda. Okay, the Godhra riots, right? This is 21 years old. Why are they digging it up now? I'll tell you why. Because in 2024 there's a general election, right? So they're trying to diminish India's ever-increasing world dominance, right?
I'm sick and tired of the propaganda by the BBC. We all know that the riots did happen in Gujarat, but the reason I am here today because I felt the documentary is completely one-sided. They didn't show both sides at all. They did not focus on why the riots started.
मैं इसको पहला इस नज़रिए से देखता हूँ, चंद युवक विद्यार्थी भड़क कर सड़कों पर उतर रहे हैं, जो कि पूरे देश के छात्र समूह का 0.00001% भी नहीं है। इसलिए उस उन्माद को ये कहना कि सारे भारत की छात्र शक्ति इस तरफ लगी है, तो यह सत्य से का गला घोंटना है।
It is the BBC's core belief of impartiality that is being questioned by a large part of the Indian diaspora living in the United Kingdom after the 2-part documentary was released on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Of course, the timing is being questioned, but also the ask is that the BBC apologizes for this imbalance that they feel was shown in the documentary, and also there is a call for them to be called in front of the select committee in the parliament to answer for it. Lavina Tandon for India Today from London.
There were tears, a sense of disbelief, and a huge sigh of relief for Aryna Sabalenka as she made a stunning comeback to win her maiden Grand Slam title. Facing current Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina, Sabalenka was broken early in the first set.
The first break in this women's final.
But in the 8th game of the first set, She fought back and drew level at 4-4.
It's a beautiful response.
However, Sabalenka was broken again and ended up conceding the first set 6-4.
Wrapped up the first set in 34 minutes. 6 games to 4.
In the second set, the Belarus player displayed tremendous grit and took the lead with a thunderous cross-court forehand. Rabagina did well to save 3 championship points, but an unforced error from her in the 10th game sealed Aryna Sabalenka's maiden Australian Open title.
Aryna Sabalenka is the Australian Open champ for 2023. And it is Aryna Sabalenka who is the Australian Open 2023 women's.
Sabalenka's superb comeback will be remembered forever, and her dream of a Grand Slam title is finally fulfilled. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Charles de Gaulle, home to the naval Rafale fighter jets. 20 of these are on board at any given point of time. The air wing consisting of Rafale marine jets, E-2C Hawkeye aircraft, Dolphin helicopter, Cayman marine helicopter gives the aircraft carrier the punch to dominate the seas.
There are 20 Rafale marine fighter aircraft on board the Charles de Gaulle at this point of time, but officials say that the numbers can be taken up to 30 if required. This is obviously in addition to several other helicopters and surveillance aircraft that are needed on board. At this point of time, the Indian Navy is also looking to have either the Rafale Marines or Boeing's Super Hornet for its fleet. The tests have been conducted, and very soon the Indian Navy will zero down on which fighter aircraft they will be using for their new aircraft carrier INS Vikrant.
It's not just the fighter aircraft, but other elements of the air wing that add to the strength. Be it anti-submarine warfare or reconnaissance and surveillance.
Anti-submarine warfare is an integral part for any aircraft carrier, and this helicopter specializes at that. This is the NH-90 or the French Caimau, which is on board the Charles de Gaulle, and it has a dual role. It's not just an anti-submarine warfare helicopter, and a potent one, but it's also used for transport of personnel as well as material